Hello, beautiful people. It's Anastasia Huno here, and today we're going to be talking about 3 things that helped my husband and I be prepared for marriage before we were married. A lot of times people look down on young marriages because a lot of young people end up rushing into marriage without actually doing the proper steps to make sure that they can have a very long and successful marriage. And that's why we decided to do some of these things. So I'm excited to share them with you, and hopefully this will help you if you are planning on getting married soon, or maybe you can start implementing these things now and it could help you in your marriage, especially if you're young. We want to make sure that we're not just getting married just because we're in love, even though that's a beautiful thing to get married for, right? But it's also a lot of other things that we need to work on to make sure that we can have a long and successful marriage. I'm no expert here. This is me just sharing my experience and what helped us. And honestly, our relationship has been the best it's ever been because of this. So let's get into it. One of the most transformational things that my husband and I did before we were married was go to premarital counseling. We knew a husband and wife really close to us that were pastors, and we actually went to months of premarital counseling, not just a few sessions before we were married like a lot of people do. It helps a lot, especially if you trust the people that you're with. We trusted the pastors that we were going to, and it was beautiful because we would be able to talk about problems in our relationship without them judging us, and we would also get a male and women perspective. And it's amazing because both of us felt heard because of that. It was beautiful to go to premarital counseling and make sure that we're getting good counsel from people that have already been married. Obviously, if you want to be successful at something, it's really beneficial to speak to people that are already successful at it. That's what we did, and our relationship is much better for it. I truly believe that because of what they've taught us, we are going to be able to have a really long and successful marriage. One of the biggest things that they taught us was conflict and resolution. That is something that a lot of marriages struggle with, how to speak and have that communication with each other, how to resolve conflicts when they come up, because they will come up because we're two different people that are living in a space every single day with each other. It was absolutely amazing to have that, and I highly recommend it. Another aspect of this is also meeting with a woman who has been a wife for a long time on my own. Obviously, I want to be a successful wife. I want to be able to grow as a woman. So I made sure that I was meeting with a woman who has been married for a long time that I looked up to. I still speak to her a lot to ask her questions about my marriage, to see what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, ask her different questions that could help. It's great to speak to a woman that's not gonna bash your husband, bash you, or make you feel like you're dumb, anything like that. It's great to talk to a woman that's gonna understand you and that's gonna give you good advice and that's gonna tell you the truth if you're in the wrong. I highly recommend having a woman in your corner, or having someone that you can confide in, maybe talking to someone in your church or talking to someone that you trust, just getting wise counsel at the end of the day that have been successful in marriage. And that's really helped us, and I truly believe that's going to help us for years and years to come. The next thing that my husband and I did before we were married was read books that pertain to marriage. One book that we read that I highly recommend reading through, I actually didn't even finish it yet. I'm still finishing it now, but there is a book called Love and Respect. My husband and I read through it, and this book changed my perspective about men in general and about women. It did the same exact thing with my husband, and it helped us so much with conflict and resolution because there's so many things that are different between how a man's brain operates and how a woman's brain operates. Man, it changed my perspective, and I truly believe that this book can help you if you are looking to get married, or if you are already married. I highly recommend just looking into it. Look into the crazy cycle and the energizing cycle. It just kind of makes so much sense, and it's helped us so much. Before we were married, we practiced conflict resolution a lot, and now that we're married, it's really easy to get out of an argument or anything like that because now we're realizing how both of us think. Not saying that we're perfect by any means, and I'm not perfect, I'm not an expert here, but I'm saying what's helping us, and this book definitely helped. Another thing too with reading books, read what the Bible says about marriage. I had talked in my last video about a Proverbs 31 woman, and I'm going to link the video right here. But the Bible talks about how a husband and a wife should conduct themselves in marriage, how husbands should love their wives and wives respect their husbands, and it just talks a lot about marriage. I highly recommend reading into the Bible as well. And there's a lot of other marriage books out there that I'm sure will help you, but just reading some type of book that is also a perspective of people that have been married before. I truly believe it can be helpful, and it could be something that could also bond your relationship together before you're married, to kind of get you guys excited and get you guys ready for any problems that could come in your marriage. Remember that marriage is a beautiful thing, and the devil hates marriage. The devil wants to do anything to tear marriage apart. Marriage is not going to be perfect right out the gate because we're two imperfect people. So a great thing that we did before we were married is just to make sure that we are super prepared and learning from others that have been married as well, because we want to have a successful marriage and we want to have a marriage that will grow and become better over time. The last thing that my husband and I did before we were married is make sure that we talk about the nitty-gritty, realistic things that sometimes people miss. It's really hard to be married to someone that is completely different or wants completely different things, who literally doesn't want any kids, but you want 10. You got to make sure that you guys are talking about all the things that matter to you, because you might overlook that for someone that you're in love with, but 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, it's going to start to be hard to be married to someone that's completely different, or you realize, man, not on the same path at all. We don't want the same things at all. I just got married because I was in love. Talk about the realistic things. This is what premarital counseling is great for as well, because we really got to nitty-gritty things. But even outside of counseling, we spoke a lot to each other about realistic things, scenario, a lot of different aspects of our relationship that, could be a problem or maybe not. Basically made sure that we were really aligned before we were married and that we were on the right path. We didn't get married to divorce each other. We got married so that we could have a long marriage, right? To death do us part. Preparing for marriage is going to help us for years and years on the line. So those are 3 things that my husband and I did before we were married to be prepared for marriage. Like I said before, I'm not an expert. I love being married, and I'm excited to share with you guys more of my experience as a young wife. If you are married, or if you're on your way to being married, then it would be great if you would leave in the comment below some things that you did before you're married to be prepared, and what things that you're doing now that you're married that have helped your marriage. It is amazing to hear from other married people, and we could have a conversation. This video is sponsored by Hunu Essentials. My husband and I launched a candle brand a few months ago, and these candles are absolutely gorgeous. We are having a new fall launch coming very soon. This is the boxes that the candles come in, and these candles are absolutely beautiful. They have a wooden wick, all natural, and they're just gorgeous. They crackle when they burn, so they have a very soothing firewood-like sound. So it's just amazing. I hope you guys will look into them in the link below. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video.